Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome. I'm thrilled to be your moderator for today's webinar. So, we have an incredible session lined up for today. So, I'm sure you all are aware that as marketers, we're all navigating a massive shift, the way audiences find information, and by extension, our brands is being completely redefined by large language models and AI powered search. And that's why for to help brands navigate, not just navigate, but lead this new landscape, we have developed NeuroRank. So to demystify this framework and to exactly tell us how NeuroRank works, I'm delighted to introduce the person who knows NeuroRank the best, Ambika Sharma, the founder and chief strategist of Pulp Strategy. And Ambika will walk us through the framework and tell us how we can leverage this framework to improve brand visibility both in the B2B and B2C space. So, Ambika, the virtual stage is all yours.
I hope you'll find today's session interesting and I hope it will be engaging. If you do have questions, which I'm sure that you will, because overall the genre is a little bit new, please do feel free to ask. And we have Rohit and Sarvesh here helping us kind of organize this session and moderate it as well. So if you raise your hand, they will be able to unmute you, or you can also put your questions in the chat, and I'll definitely get to each of them for sure. So this session is divided into two. One is, of course, what is LLMO, what is GEO, what does the tool do, how does it impact your brand, and then we'll go to live examples directly to the tool. And we have like a couple of brands that I'd like to walk you through as examples, as live examples, and happy to take any questions along the way, especially after the first section and then during the demo as well. Happy to take questions there. So very quickly, NeuroRank, we worked almost 1.5 years on the tool. It is an enterprise grade LLMO model. It unifies technical authority, GEO, AEO, and AIO. And of course, there's human engineering from your teams in terms of content and all of that. And it is built to be able to give you organic dominance, which is within AI search, and it has a very positive impact on your overall current SEO structure as well. So currently, it is the most powerful system. It leaves very little to chance. It identifies the problem area. It identifies all of the citation links, where the errors are, what's pulling your brand authority down. It's an overall governance tool. It also advises what are the actions to be taken. We are traditionally a marketing agency. We have been around for almost a decade and a half plus now. So the tool has incorporated all of the techniques from marketing to be able to ensure what we wanted to be able to ensure is that it doesn't leave anything to imagination and becomes a governance tool for teams of all sizes and people of all experience levels. So the guidance of the tool is pretty strong. I'll kind of walk you through that when we come to the tool itself. So very quickly, some of this information all of you have, it's top of mind for every marketer right now. 25% plus of search has moved to AI models. In fact, globally, ChatGPT is now 20% of the total search volume. And then you also have Claude, which is growing very fast. You obviously have Perplexity, which is kind of built for search. And you have Gemini, including the AI overviews, which is a very large chunk. But conservatively, 25% of the traditional search volume globally has moved to AI, and AI gives direct answers. India is one of the largest AI markets, and we are also one of the largest users of search. So we have been impacted, I think, almost at par with the US, but I understand we are on number two right now, very close to the US market. Important to understand AI models do not rank. They don't rank websites, they don't rank information, they synthesize answers, and the shift is being included in the answer. So AI should cite you, hopefully give a link to the authority of your website. It should be able to include your brand or topic or person, whichever agenda that an individual or a brand wants to address. It should recommend you, which is like the perfect thing to do, is that AI recommends your business or service or product for the right reasons. So that is the shift. But the ground level is inclusion. It should not exclude you from your category or your brand or the topic that you want to be able to include it in. Now, there is a shift in the last 15 days. PPC has also gotten connected to the AI search. So anybody who's spending marketing dollars on Google search will now start to see the positives or the negatives of this um, alignment of paid search with the AI generated answers. So I'll take you through a little bit more of this because it's fairly new. I'm quite sure that any of you who have seen the dashboards or your agencies have shown dashboards. It's already started to appear there. It's called the query fan out, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. What are the core risks that AI gives? Of course, the positive is that if it starts recommending your brand, then there are a lot of people, 68%, who blindly believe what AI recommends. Okay, so there's the cross questioning there is fairly low, and a lot of the discovery as well as the consideration loop is happening within the AI chat boxes. So that's um, good for some and bad for some. If a brand is omitted, it's obviously bad. If a competitor is squatting on that particular space, and I'll show you some live examples across categories where it is, we have audited and worked on more than 150 brands now. So we have a fairly good understanding of where is it that the gaps occur, and we'll show you some live examples along the way. If it is replaced, which means a competitor is squatting on that, you're the biggest, let's say, printer category leader in the country. However, when you search on AI, maybe it's recommending competition, and maybe it's showing a brand that you sell a product that you sell in the US and you don't sell in India. So that's the kind of challenges that brands are facing right now. Hallucinated, incorrect examples saying that cost per page is actually 1 paisa, and it says that this is not the cheapest cost per page. You might want to check it. So that means that AI has seeded a doubt. What does this result in? People don't click on links anymore. Mostly the direct traffic increases, or if you're selling across marketplaces, that impact will be shown wherever is it that you're selling. And that starts to drop. And the attribution is not the easiest thing when AI searches are concerned. So some numbers, these are from recent Jan 2026, 527%. It's already at 25%, but 527% YOY increase. That's the CAGR. 75% of people do not click on any links, whether your brand is cited or whether it is not cited. So search, which was the biggest discovery engine, is also moving to AI answers, particularly in India. This is true. Close looped with the US markets, both these markets, and it's spiking very fast. So effectively, if you're not included in the answer, then that brand is a little bit of a blind spot for the consumer. 68% of users blindly or almost blindly trust AI synthesized answers. And for each of the industries, AI algorithm for synthesizing answers is a little bit different. So there are some common points, of course, but the algorithm is different, and model wise also the algorithm varies. So it makes the landscape fairly complex. Visitor value from AI search is very, very high, 4.4 times more revenue AI search visitors bring, and they have a shorter conversion loop than traditional organic search visitors. So in case you're tracking these from your brand, for your brand across attribution models that you might have built, you'd start to see this, or you have already started to see this. Claude is up and coming. It's the fastest growing model. You would have heard that they've now opened an office in India. They've gone and hired the top executive from Microsoft, if I'm not wrong. And they are very aggressively converting Indian consumers. And it has a 16.8 conversion rate, which is truly, really high. And it outperforms currently all channels. So that's the AI model to kind of watch out for in the near future. Now let's come to the AI search, the Google search, paid search part. You will see a model on your screens. This is more to be able to explain how that works. So you start in Google search with a conversational query. User asks a complex or a simple question. AI search kind of fans that query out. So let me explain a little bit simplistically, but let me explain what that means. For example, if I ask for the best sunscreen, give me the best sunscreen. So AI is going to fan out that query. What does best mean? Is it best for oily skin? Is it best for tropical climate? Is it best with vitamin C? Is it best for XYZ? So it fans that query out. It goes out and first searches. Any AI model, they don't rely first on answers. When you're asking a query, they go and search. So for example, OpenAI works on Bing, Google has its own search engine, Claude works on Bing, so they are kind of they go out and search for that information. They evaluate that information. So if you see three concurrently, they will go out search for all the information. Based on its evaluation parameters, it will evaluate that information and you will get a AI powered summary. We are obviously talking about Google, but same for everything else as well. AI powered summary into a single conversational link. So even if you have asked for a sunscreen for oily skin, it will give you oily skin, 3, 4 options, not 20 options. Then it'll come back and make us some other set of recommendations based on its understanding. Till now, we are in the organic space, right? These are clickable links. It might pull out links from marketplaces to be able to purchase, etc., etc. Only if the brand information fits the fan out query in step 2. If it doesn't fit, AI cannot read, cannot understand, misunderstands, you will not feature that. So that's as simple as that. Based on that information, the ad will also be recommended. Now, of course, shopping ads are not included in this right now. Though those ads will come up, but if you are purely in the AI search overviews, you will not see those ads anymore. You will see a panel on the right of your screen, which will have 4 to 5 links visible. And if you scroll, it'll have 4 or 5 other links. Sometimes brands will get cited there, or otherwise ads will show up there. So that's how this is actually working. Now, what is the impact that you will see? Most of you might already be aware of this. So organic, low brand discovery, what does that do? User searches for the product. What are the different um, common reactions that might happen with AI? First is very simple. Your brand is not visible or the brand is not visible in the answer, in which case it's already out of the consideration set. No follow-up questions, no nothing. So brand is not visible. The second, brand is visible, but with incorrect information, something which is called hallucinations. So it might say that some users are cribbing, or it might say that it doesn't have enough customer reviews. If it can't read that information, it might give incorrect information also. Negative bias, saying if you want to use cheaper products, you could also look at X brand. So that's a negative bias. It has not talked about the efficacy of the product or even the ingredient set of the product in a neutral manner. It's just saying it's cheaper. Or it might say, if you want to look at more expensive options, or it might say that users in North India do not prefer this brand for whatever may be the reason. Maybe one person cribbed somewhere. So it will pick that up as a negative bias. This ideally should be balanced out. Of course, that's the brand's responsibility. The worst thing that it can do typically is recommend competition. Here are the four, and out of this, based on and it has a logged in bias, right? So if I'm searching logged into Google and I've already searched for other things before, based on my previous history and knowledge, it might recommend me something, might recommend something else entirely to you. So now that AI models are working, all of them are working logged in bias is very, very high. For example, for one of the clients, I was doing a textile printer search, and instead of giving me an answer, my chat box actually told me that you're running an agency. What do you need a textile printer for? And then automatically assume that I will need it to print like swag or t-shirts or something, and then started recommending accordingly, right? So it's got a lot of knowledge about the user, and therefore might make recommendations with a logged in bias as well. This makes it very difficult for brands and professionals like us to be able to identify where the gap is. So of course there is misrepresentation damage if there is unflattering information, that is permanent damage to the brand. And it also results in compounding a higher CPC. So what Google is currently stating, or what users are currently stating, is that at least 30%, if not higher, is brands who are not optimized for LLM models are seeing higher CPC, and therefore it results in higher costs of sale and lower life cycle value for customer, and all of those challenges. Again, there are different, of course, there are lots of subcategories and behavior patterns, but we've picked out four, which we see as, broad pillars to be discussed. B2B decision makers. So for B2B brands and products and services, for all of you here, 89% of B2B buyers are now using Gen AI as the primary research source. The balance are probably not using it as the only research source, but 89% are using it as a primary research source. By 2028, 90% of all B2B buying will be AI agent intermediated, which means that the human might not be involved at all. You might see AI actually interacting, AI agents interacting with your website or your primary source of information on the internet, making a decision and a shortlist based on that information, and then coming back to the actual buyer. As it is that traffic levels have crossed the human traffic levels already, and as per current estimates, $15 trillion in spends are hedged on this behavior. And some of you are part of those trends if you have a B2B product or service. B2C consumers are at 86% right now. They demand AI assistance. A lot of this is, of course, through Google AI overviews, but others as well. And they pivot to summaries rather than on deep dives. Traditional display efficacy, we just spoke about that in terms of ad, is down by 30%. This will only go up as more and more consumers start relying on AI for their information. D2C and agentic commerce, 47% faster purchases. Very important for brand governance, stock, and IPO investors. This is a big enough category for Perplexity to tie up with the Indian Stock Exchange and put a direct API there to prevent hallucinations. But research hallucinations still exist. Moving on. So I have an example for you before we move on to the demo of the tool. So this is a large enterprise brand, Chimes. I have particularly picked up the USA market so that I don't give conflicting, information in a webinar, which is obviously dominated by Indian brands right now. So it's a fairly large size brand. I also want to showcase how BFSI brands, there is a governance impact, right? BFSI, pharma, fintech, anything which is in the regulated category. So if you see, this is a direct screenshot from the tool, and feel free to ask any questions. It has picked out always benchmarks global, but we focused on the US geography. It says some users have reported unexpected charges despite Chime's no fee structure, leading to concerns about transparency. And it's given the source. of where this information is coming from. Now, potentially, this is very, very damaging information, and something definitely should be done to address this. It's also highlighted security concerns, so it's kind of picking out all of the vulnerabilities of the brand, and this might be a fraction of the users, right? It might not be 100% of the users or 50% of the users raising these concerns, but it takes only one. And a lot of times brands just miss it because most of the brands do not have a comprehensive governance model in place. It's an evolving situation, probably was not required earlier, but now apparently is. Chime's reliance on transaction fees makes it vulnerable to economic downturns. So that's like common information. Now there's picked up all the perceived strengths, which is great, but we'll come down to the concerns. So there are some narrative tags here, and it gives 5 7 levels of deep dive on each of these, and I'll showcase that with another brand. There are transparency concerns, customer service challenges, security vulnerabilities, economic sensitivity, which is there with everybody today, nothing anybody can do about it, international expansion risk. So we'll focus on the first three, which is very damaging as far as a financial brand is concerned, and there will be challenges there. I'll come to another brand. This is a different dashboard in the tool. It's a brand battle card with competition. And if you just see this, and we'll go, there are multiple insights uh, from a perception perspective in the tool. So core product and service, and this is Ali Bank. It's again a large size player in the top 10 12 within the country, and you'll see in core product and service, it's doing great as far as LLMs. This is LLM perception, sorry for that. This is LLM models perception. We are on OpenAI right now. We could potentially deep dive into Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, and all separately as well. Core product and service, it's doing great. On market presence information, there is a gap. So there's like a 50% almost gap, which is why that icon is there. Emotional brand recall is poor. CEO leadership, thought leadership content is also poor. Prompt inclusion frequency is okay, but these biases and hallucinations exist. And LLM digital engagement, which is a follow-up engagement, also exists. So that is one of the battle cards in terms of banking. So coming to the tool, and we'll just move to that as well. In case you have any questions on GEO per se, feel free to ask. It maps all the signals, so goes across the internet. Takes a while to be able to run an initial audit also across the internet. Picks out all of the information, goes to LLM models, does an aided and unaided research, gets all the competition and information, positives, negatives, good to haves from there, and then engineers that into a readable format for you. It includes what is it that you need to correct, where you need to correct it per prompt and per query. What are the queries that customers are asking? Which is the most important query for you to focus on? And of course, that decision always remains with the brand. It's the tool's job to make recommendations. Where can you go and signal authority as compared to competition, where competition is squatting on that particular information? Then it gives you an entire control framework from forums to customer feedback. So you know exactly how that particular prompt will be impacted, including your own website and technicals on the website, the content health, the brand health, the technical health around that particular prompt. Once you have made the fix, it will check whether you have made the fix efficiently and not, and of course report back to you. So make a checker analysis model, and then it runs a conditioning loop. So thousands and thousands of prompts across the region with fresh tokens, no locked in bias, which conditions, it's called a RAG memory injection. It conditions the model to be able to remember your information faster and correctly. So that's how the tool actually kind of functions there. Very quickly, it has a design thinking foundation. That is how it's built. It has a lot of consumer insight across, which has been built into it already. And then, of course, it does rely on professional grade APIs from all the models to be able to get its information and function per model. So it's kind of diversified there. It has model specificity. You can choose which model you want to focus on, or you could choose on all four, identifying gap and vulnerabilities unique to each particular structure. What that really means is if you feel that more people use Google and your audience does not use ChatGPT, you can focus more and take your insights and roadmaps focused on Google, and it is engineered for cognition. So it, to a large extent, guarantees almost that your information will be remembered correctly by LLM models much faster than flying blind, of course. But even the conditioning loop kind of shortens that by a bunch of months. And that is, in today's time, a lot of revenue. If you just calculate 30% more cost of customer acquisition over a period in time, it's really easy to be able to figure out what you're losing out at a very basic level for the brand. Great. So before I actually move on to the tool, would anybody have any questions? Pallavi has her hand up. Right. So go ahead, please.
Pallavi, you can unmute and you can ask your question. Hello, Vipin. You can unmute and you can ask your question.
Vipin, are we audible to you? Go ahead, please.
Very well, very well. Thank you so much. It's been very
Yes,
insightful,
please.
and you have explained this thing in very simple language, first of all. Now, I have a very straightforward question. The LLM that, let's say, ChatGPT is using is an LLM that they have created themselves.
Correct.
Now, how does my organization's brand name gets populated in there? And how does the tool do it? Is something that is of intrigue to me. That's what I would like to know.
I understand. So LLM models have their own methodology of training, and they kind of focus on prioritization. So first, let me just go a little bit to search. They have trained across the internet and information, um, paid, unpaid, legal, illegal, all of that information, and they have information from across the internet. Now, sometimes the LLM models do not have information. So to start with, all LLM models, if it's a decently sized brand, will be able to search your brand, for which the effort that you need to make might be very little. They will have already gotten some information about your brand. When you ask, they first use search. They don't go to their memory. So they will go use search, just like you used to do Google search. They will go to the website, whatever they can read and understand, they will come back and they will give the information. Then you ask pressing questions. Here is where the problem starts. They don't have that information. Hypothetically, cannot read. Your website is not technically LLM friendly. Content is not conversational. Plus, there are some 30-35 parameters that you need to follow. They can't find that information. Their first step is to lie. So they will make up the information. Okay, and this has become a very big problem. If you all would remember, very recently, couple of months ago, the government of Australia fined Deloitte couple of $1 million, if I remember correctly, and because some junior consultant there used LLM models to write a report, And LLM models made up cases and names of judges and laws, and the report was submitted. And that's the level of problem that it created, and it got caught obviously in the parliament, and they were fined, and there's loss of face and all of those things. So the LLM model goes, if it doesn't get the information that you're pressing it to get, it will lie. If it reads information also, depending on your industry, it might go to Reddit, it'll go to LinkedIn, it'll go to Google My Business, Better Business Forum, Trustpilot, Yellow Pages, wherever it'll find consumer reviews before making a recommendation. One consumer is cribbing about the brand, or has unflattering things to say about the brand, it will bring that up and it'll show it in the responses. So those are biases. Now, what we need to do and how the tool helps, the second part of your question. It's not humanly possible for an individual to go and search everything about every single brand and its competition. So how the tool helps is it identifies where the gaps are. What are the hallucinations? What are the issues? Where are those issues coming from? What can you do to fix it? Fixing has to be done manually by your team. So let us say, and I'll show you that example. We have a solar panel brand who changed its warranty policy and was not very transparent about it, or those particular set of consumers did not bother to read the policy properly. Either ways, whatever happened in the background. But on a Better Business Bureau on a USA site, it's an Indian brand. People were cribbing that the warranty policy is bad. There is no customer service number, etc. Now, since the brand is not present over there, does not have like a branded handle on the site, they were not even aware that these issues are happening. They could not find out where these issues are coming from, that consumers are saying warranty policy changes. Where? So the tool will tell you what to do over there. Your team has to go, or your agency has to go and fix it. Balance it out, give the responses, give customer assurance. The AI model will then be able to read that response and it'll get balanced out. So that is how you're able to fix it. Now we come to the part, how will the tool ensure that you are in the memory? So one is proximity and information, which we have covered. The second is that the entire world's information, the tools do not keep in their memory. So when you put out new information, okay, let's say somebody new joined your organization, or your brand has a product has 5 new features. It will take time, sometimes 9 to 12 months, for AI to be able to remember that information. Even in 9 to 12 months, AI will not remember that information if people are not searching for that information. So it's proximity. The questions which get more traffic are the questions that make their way into the AI memory faster. So what the tool does is, we have an army of agents in the tool. It repeatedly asks the questions, and if necessary makes like corrective follow-up questions, so that the source of information the AI model goes to multiple times, and therefore mimicking the priority of that question and information, it will remember it faster. So it's really simple. It's a lot of hard work. Potentially people could do it organically as well. If you had like 20,000 people asking those questions from across the country every month for 5 months, you would be able to achieve the exact same thing. So that's how the tool helps in kind of ensuring that the memory is recognized faster. The only caveat is that that information has to be true. So the system cannot help an AI model remember something which is false. Maybe temporarily it'll, kind of recall that, but it will not long term be able to remember anything which is false. Now, does that answer your question? Any other questions that I could take here? Yes,
Follow-up
please.
question I have. So
Yes, please.
what I've understood is that the LLM will be firing a query like a search engine and scrape the data from my website. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, absolutely correct, but partially. From your website, it will get the information, but it will need to be told that that information is true. For example, there might be a software company that says we are the best and we are certified and we are in the top 10%. Okay. Now AI will read that information and say so and so software company claims to be in the top 10%. To prove that, you will have a ISO 27001 or SOC certification of the company that will need to be published. And then AI will say they're in the top 10% and they're SOC certified. So trust signals have to be given. They might be third-party trust signals. And these trust signals kind of vary by industry. The tool will be able to give you to a great level of detail which are those trust signals that you need to fix. Then the brand needs to be able to identify those trust signals, provide that information, and then the tool will believe what you're saying. The LLM model will believe what you're saying.
Thanks.
Sure.
Then there is a Devyani.
Devyani,
Yeah, you
you
can
have a
come on.
question, please. Just unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hi, Ambika. My question is in a very basic manner right now, but yeah, I want to ask you. Like in the initial slide, you have mentioned that Google Ads is not run by keywords now; it is run by intent. So just I want the clarification. Like currently, I am starting my Google Ads in my company.
Right.
So the intent, when we define the intent, we will talk about our customers' intent, like what they're looking for and what they're searching for, right? So that
Right.
intent is also defined by the keywords. No, like whatever the keywords we are using, whatever the query we are thinking, like what customer wants for them. So these are the things we define by the keywords, right? So like
Correct.
what do you mean by that intent word and by that keywords word? Like if you want to clarify that thing, like that part for
Sure,
me.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure. So what that means is, first, Google Ads will still run on keywords. That is not changing anytime soon.
Yes.
Okay. It is the response of Google that is changing. So
Yes.
let us
Okay.
say, hypothetically, I mean, I don't know which
So
you're
my
bound because
company
I
is a
can't
IT
see it.
service company. We can say IT
Great.
solutions company, cloud engineering, and other kind of engineering, data
Excellent.
engineering, product engineering. Yeah.
Excellent. So when consumers ask for cloud migration services, okay,
Okay. Hmm.
let us say that they ask for migrating to Azure, and that is your keyword.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So number one, your website should have um, a a dedicated page on migration to
Yes.
Azure. That is one.
Yes. Hmm. Hmm.
Second, it should give why you have best practices.
Hmm.
These are
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
trust. This is your
Trust
information
signals.
signal,
Yes. Yes. I
right?
understand that. Yes.
So
Hmm. Hmm.
correct. So
Hmm.
in that, in those trust best practices, everything will be covered.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Then it should definitely have information like your clients, your client
Hmm.
feedback. Why are you
Hmm.
better? Are you
Hmm.
going to
Hmm.
give 25% better workload
Hmm.
optimization?
Hmm.
How
Hmm.
are
Hmm.
you doing that? Who
Hmm. Hmm.
said you're going to give 25% better workload optimization? Right?
Hmm. Hmm.
What did your customers say? Then you should have
Hmm.
like a case study.
Hmm.
You should be able to give some tips and tricks. So
Hmm. Hmm.
it's believability, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
all of that information should be there. Now,
Hmm.
this improves your chances of coming
Hmm.
up in that particular query organically
Hmm. Hmm.
and inorganically. Your website, it
Understood.
should be in the right format. So don't run an
Hmm.
ad before you fix this, right?
Hmm.
So it
Yes,
should be
yes.
in the right format. It should be
Hmm.
conversational. It should have all the FAQs. So please put together all the
Hmm.
questions that your
Hmm.
customers ask, put
Hmm. Hmm.
answers in place,
Hmm.
place them there. Now,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
all of the information in a readable format with schema and everything is present on your
Yes, yes,
website, the
yes.
chances are that
Hmm.
your ads will perform better,
Hmm.
right? But it will take time.
Yeah, of course, I
Immediately, the
understand that.
performance will not go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Actually, like we are in a very initial stage of our brand for the all the AEO things because of course that is why I asked this question. And can I follow up one question again? Just is it okay for you?
Sure, please.
Sure.
And
Just
if you like, just put your email ID, and we can also, if you need some assistance, we can also set up a call separately as well.
Sure.
Okay, please go ahead.
Just a one question only. Here I will ask, like the thing which we mentioned that who will say that we are the good person or we are a good company for the cloud migration thing, right? So of course the third party, like for example the other websites where we can put our website things, right? So that is will help us more. You are saying, right? Is I'm going wrong
Very good
in?
question.
Mm-hmm.
So putting that information randomly like you used to do with SEO on multiple websites will not help. You need to give strong trust signal. So if Microsoft has given you an award, for example, okay,
Oh, understood. Oh, like that you are talking
you are a
about, huh?
gold partner, right? That helps. If there
Hmm.
was, so that's helpful. If
Understood.
there is a industry body or a forum where your consumers independently have gone and given you like a great review, that is more helpful than 1000 backlinks. Backlinks make they have no use at all. None of your traditional SEO practices, normal SEO practices are of any use when you want to influence AI.
Okay. Uh, okay. So I think I have a lot of follow questions. Like we will connect later, of
No
course, on
worries.
that point because like
Please,
yeah, we talked about backlink. Now I have a multiple question there. So of course we
I
will connect
understand.
later. Yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'll be happy to
Uh,
set up like a
yeah.
call with you. If you
Sh
just write out to us, we'll set that up before you
Okay,
actually
sure. I
go
will,
into your rounds.
can I put my ID there in the chat where in this team chat? Is it okay
I
Yeah,
or
will
should I
share
give
the
it?
contact
Sarvesh
info.
will
Okay.
Sarvesh will put up the link. Just put in your
Ha,
ID there. I mean PII
done.
information.
Sure.
So it
Okay,
stays
sure.
between us.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I am going to, if there are any questions, please do ask. I'm going to move straight forward to the demo of the tool here. And then you could kind of let me know. My screen is visible. So I'm going to start with a slightly less complex brand and also for India. So this is the dashboard of the tool. The tool is in two levels. What we are going to look at right now is the level one, which is a tip of the iceberg kind of a look and feel of where your brand is overall in terms of AI and as compared to your competition, right? For most agencies and for us also, we use this as a overview for a client, and then at a later stage when we actually want to start working on the governance of LLMO or GEO properly, then we go to the level 2, which you can see here, which actually gives you deep dive information by prompt cluster. So this is Live Pure Smart. It's a brand all of you would be, or at least a product category all of you are kind of well aware of. Primary is water RO purifiers. It's in the top 5, 6 brands of the country, competes with some of the larger brands. The first tab is brand overview. It's kind of pulled out the key offering. This is very important because it allows the tool to be able to compare the information that LLM models are giving against the information which is provided on the website. So that is why this is important. Otherwise, judging a hallucination would be far more complex, or biases would be far more complex. When it comes to campaigns, what are the campaigns? Where have they run? For example, digital video, Shadi Ke Baad, but it is from 2019. Uh, very old information. Awareness campaign with RJ Naved on Mirchi. So it's picking up. We have APIs from multiple sources which bring this information here in the first level of the tool. So there is a digital video and a radio campaign, again 2022, and then Honest Warranty, which started in October 2025, which is fairly recent. And that is a brand trust campaign. So it's picked out 2 or 3. Potentially there could be many more, but the purpose is to be able to gather the information, and it always shows some of the information and rest goes into the database. Now we come to the actual part, market perception. Now, if you see on the right hand side, all the models are mentioned here. You could potentially toggle between models. All models behave and make their own judgments and information. So it's important to be able to figure out each and every one of them, which is also what makes the LLM information or search a little bit complex to address. Now, this is the perception that OpenAI has about this brand. We've used unaided recall technique and aided recall techniques here, which is, as marketers, all of you are aware of, it's very traditional. Pehle we used to do it on paper and form, right? Now it's become digitized, but the fundamentals remain the same. Now, if you look at this is what AI is typically highlighting. So we'll leave global aside. It always benchmarks. It's not a global brand, so it's not important. India, multiple consumer complaints highlight extremely poor after-sales service with frequent breakdowns and unresponsive support, leading to widespread dissatisfaction. A recent issue is opacity and rigid policies around cancellations, recharges, and deposits. Many users report being harassed post-exit or denied refunds despite advance notice. So this is not good for a brand, because AI is going to throw up this information when consumers are asking for recommendations, right? Numerous online community posts characterize Lives Pure Smart as deceptive. So there's a lot of discontent amongst customers. Some users note reasonably initial product performance worked well for 18 months, but these experiences are overshadowed by systematic service breakdowns. So AI acknowledges, which is probably because of our follow-up question, that initial performance was great, but the service is a problem, not the product. Okay. But normally when we search and ask for recommendation, we don't see it like that if we get this kind of information. App and communication systems are unreliable. So that is definitely not good. It doesn't have anything great to say about the brand. It's picked out the perceived strengths. This is structured in such a way that it is easy for the marketer to kind of, or the brand team to be able to identify, or the agency to be able to identify what are the focus areas. And then there is more information in the following tabs. So service is a problem, trust deficit, hidden policies, communication and transparency, exit process harassment. And it's not a global brand, so that's okay if there's no global footprint. So this is not good. It's obviously, if you see, picked out the sources. So if I were the brand, I would actually go to the sources, and at least I would respond to them, and then take corrective measures to kind of balance out this narrative, because it's very damaging. We look at the competitive analysis, which is benchmarking. Again, we have not added any competition. These are LLM competitors for OpenAI. We are still on OpenAI, and that's how OpenAI must be responding to consumers. So there's Kent, there's Eureka Forbes, Urban Company, Native, Atomberg Technologies, and Cubo. So there could be potentially 20 competitors. But for the purpose of the tip of the iceberg audit, which is a forensic deep dive, which helps brands understand what they want to focus on and then start deep diving, right? So for that purpose, we normally hard code it for 5 or 6 competitors maximum. So which is why you see 5 competitors here. Normally, unless the category is very competitive, you'll not see number 7 and number 8 here. It doesn't mean that it's not in the database. It's just how the tool is built for level 1. So it's, again, these are parameters which, based on consumer insight for India, are primary parameters that consumers rely on, or it influences their belief in a brand, right? And then finally, there's prompt inclusion. So there's innovation. If a brand is known as innovative, OpenAI thinks 50-50, 50%. So medium innovation. Recall, unaided recall, is medium. They're not the top recommended product. Trust based on consumer queries and all is medium. The product is great. There is a lot of discontent around the service and general customer treatment. It's not a digital first brand. There are information gaps that LLM sees in the information. Leadership voice or thought leadership voice is very, very low. It because this is red, it would be below 20%. And prompt inclusion is very low. So short answer is that they're not included in recommendations. Uh, Less than 20% of the times they would be included. Now we also have information here where you can talk to the data. There are potentially hundreds and thousands of data packets that have come in. I can see about 38 plus thousand signals here. So at least that data would have come in. You can talk here and you can kind of ask why. Why is it that the prompt inclusion is so low? And then it'll pull out that information and can kind of give you a little snippet in terms of the answer at the bottom of the screen here. It's not a little snippet, but yeah, it's a bit more detailed than I would like, but it's given sources again. So these are the trust sources for this particular category. So moredoorintelligence.com. I'm not sure what that is, but obviously it's an informative site. And it's told you why the medium rankings are there. For every step you'll have. So if this was your brand, you'd know exactly where you want to be able to start. Now we come to search intelligence. These are samples of actual consumer prompts that are there. You know that air purifier and water purifier are also available as a service. Philips actually started that right after 2020, and now it's become a commonplace practice in a lot of brands. So best subscription-based water purification services in India. This is the hero prompt. What the tool also does, which I feel is like one of the most helpful things that it can do, that it goes through all of those thousands of prompts and kind of clubs them together to make a prompt cluster. All of you have done or at least familiar with SEO. Initially, we used to make keyword clusters, which were related information keywords, and that was a manual exercise, not always very accurate. The tool does this automatically. So you could potentially have hundreds of clusters, and it depends on the brand or the agency, whoever's making the decision, to be able to identify which clusters you want to focus on. So this is important for now. There's a couple of tech-enabled, affordable purification. Out of this, it has given some hallucinations and gaps. Again, I'm reminding you that this is a very tip of the iceberg level in the tool right now, which we are seeing. Okay. So I'm sorry, we are running a little short in time, but Live Pure Smart incorrectly associate with Live Pure parent products, omit LLMs, omit subscription-based unique selling points, confusion arises when they say it's just another RO brand and don't give like a service model, etc., etc. So there are some confusions which are highlighted across the prompts that you see. Now we have a prompt lab. We would have run these prompts at least 20 to 25 times across Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Guwahati for India purposes, just so that we can get like a healthy regional mix as well, and don't run the prompts only from one place. So best subscription water-based purification services, Lipo Smart appears as a notable option. So, but does not consistently come at the top as compared to more established brands. And again, the brand team could potentially deep dive in all of these, and it has run a lot of prompts across services. So if you had like a multi-brand or a multi-region kind of a product or a service or brand, so you'd get like a healthy response to kind of make your case or build the next steps on. So this is the prompt run. Then we come to the battle card. Core product and service, there's a lot of information. Market presence, not enough information. Emotional brand recall is quite poor. We saw why. Um, Leadership content is almost absent, which means that brand itself is not talking on digital. They're just doing one-sided conversation most likely, or LLMs are unable to read it. So which means that their technical health is on the internet is not very good. Prompt inclusion is low, and follow-up engagement that LLMs ask follow-up proactive questions is also very low. And again, deep dive can happen for each of these. If the tool has the information, it will definitely provide that information. Now we go at a content audit. So you'll see that SEO landing pages seem to be very good. Customer experience testimonials are completely missing. YouTube explainers absent. Schema technical health is poor. Social media engagement via brand owned handles is not very great. Um, Content addressing customer trust and service issues are missing, probably from all the places where customers are cribbing, Reddit and other forums that you saw. Transparent relocation and cancellation process details are also missing. So, and again, deep dive is available here for each of these, and it'll give you where is it missing and what you need to do. So then there are some visibility gaps. It will talk about competitive threats in terms of your content, in terms of discovery. Why is it happening? What you need to do. So it's made a recommendation for a few problems. Potentially in a brand like this, it's a very long roadmap, and there's deep dive which will be available. And then you can talk to your data. I asked that how many customers could they potentially be losing because of this. Estimates suggest that 20 to 30% of potential customers, and this comes from the Google Insights that we've kind of put in with the API. So that's where it comes from. Now, I'll just take 5 minutes more. I know that I've gone slower. We reached the L2 levels. Now for L2, I'm gonna select a brand that we're actually working on right now. Sorry for that. You'll just kind of give me a minute. Yes. Okay. So I have let me just refresh this. Just give me a second. I think I have to refresh and reshare. It'll take a minute while I go offline. Just give me a heads up when my screen is visible. Great. So I have an overall dashboard. We've gone through the deep dive, so I won't be going there. There are all of the prompts which are required. All the subprompts and clusters for your PPC. It also maps back to the top keywords equivalently. So it brings out the prompts from, let's say, OpenAI. We are on OpenAI. And then it will map your keywords so that in case you are running PPC, you know which keywords to kind of focus on. I will say run this cluster this month. So I want to focus on these 10, 12 prompts. It will run that. My first step is to be able to get information. So I'm looking at January information here. Now, most of you will know Vari. It is the largest solar panel manufacturing company in the world outside of China. This is a combined market for them for India and US, but I'll just focus. If you see, OpenAI, and this is a culmination of at least like 1,000 prompt runs, it's missing. Out of the 10 options that have been pulled out, forcibly pulled out, it's missing. Claude does recommend it, but right at the very end, and these are ranked based on the prompt runs. They're not addressing Perplexity, so you'll not see that here, but potentially if you would be addressing Perplexity, it would be here as well. And in Gemini, it's on 9th. So this is not priority of the prompt run. This is just to give the client information so that when you have a login, you can kind of understand what it's saying. Then we come to the recommendation engine. This is the most important part. Best solar power company from a commercial perspective, that's the prompt which is chosen. It's checked out on the website if everything is okay. I will go back to the PPC question that was asked very recently. So they would definitely run ads. Now it's actually suggested the fixes. Comparison with pages like Tata Power. So the comparisons are missing. Publish case studies, optimize SEO by addressing FAQs, best solar companies near me, and reliability queries. Okay. It's said LinkedIn is fine, but here are the 3 things to do. YouTube, something is missing. Here are the things to do. Reddit, now this is where I want a little bit of attention. Customer support threads are missing. Warranty concerns, it has identified. Complaint threads are not addressed. Encourage satisfied clients to post. So a lot of negative experiences might be there and not enough positive ones. So it's kind of done this. Once I fix this for the client or the client fixes this, it will, you'll press fix. It'll go and check if that fix is working or not. So potentially, if you're the brand team and you've kind of handed over this to your agency or outsourced it, or within you have 10, 12 people doing this, very easy for you to be able to govern whether things are happening and whether you'll actually get results or not. So this is a very important function, currently not available anywhere else, and it does save a lot of time and allows people not to fly blind. From a brand perspective, it checked out Ambition Box, Glassdoor, Indeed reviews, YouTube Analytics, separate API would have checked what are the challenges. Um, it has also mentioned subscriber growth goals. Better Business Bureau, a very small um, forum in the US, smaller than Reddit. There are complaints, warranty issues, blah, blah. So it is given all of that information. Once that is done, once you've fixed it, it will give you month-on-month growth for every single prompt across every model. So this is like a dashboard. You'll be able to track every query separately. And that is definitely helpful so that you know what you've done is working. If it's not working, you go back and you run that prompt, figure out where the challenge is, fix that, and you're back on track. So it's got that. And then there is vanity dashboard as well in terms of inclusion scores overall for the brand, which you saw in some detail in the level 1, and you'll be able to see growth functioning here across all the 4 5 things that you really need to do. So typically we see clients kind of put snapshots. You have prompt heat maps. When you have multiple prompts, you'll be able to see what are the percentage improvements month on month as well. So like I said, it's like a complete governance tool across, and we have a lot of brands who have used this fairly successfully, and it is working well. As part of an email for everybody who joined in, when we send that out, we'll send you the GEO benchmark index. It has 750 brands and over 100 CMO conversations across industries, business sizes, type of customer segments, all of that. It's got great insights in case you want to kind of give that a look. That'll be great. If you have any questions, I will be happy to address those. If you would like us to kind of figure out a demo for you separately, and you're looking at GEO governance for your brand, we could set that up. And really, when it comes down to it, every brand is different, but it's a very important environment to get control of. And we're happy that we are able to kind of help that way. And we're looking forward to kind of hearing from you.
Thanks for a great session. You can join once again. So if I can understand, if I have understood this correctly, the tool that you have is actually simulating the run on all different kinds of search engines. So not search engines, but different kind of LLMs. Am I right in saying that?
Um, Partially, yes. So we obviously have enterprise APIs with the LLMs, with Google, with Meta, with LinkedIn, and blah blah. All of that brings the information together. But I think that the more important part is that the tool, the unique function is that there is a lot of data that is required to be able to get a handle on where is it that your brand is within a particular LLM model, and what is it that customers are asking. So it is able to get that information and then categorize it well for you to be able to take action on that information. Now, the process of getting that information is what we used to do 20, 30 years ago in advertising, right? You start with unaided recall, then go to aided recall, then go to like specific questions from a consumer insight perspective. Whoever made that questionnaire decades ago had a certain amount of insight on the consumer, knew what their consumers were asking, but the answers actually were the information which you would kind of work on. So it uses the traditional and new age advertising tactics and neuromarketing techniques to be able to consolidate that information and bring it to you. If you have used older tools like ARFS or SEMrush, then what they do typically is that they go to a Google keyword panel and they pull out information for you. And then you're supposed to kind of think about how to use that information on your own. This goes a little bit further because it's a complex environment. It picks up the information from multiple areas, including the LLM models as well, and then uses its own trained intelligence to give the recommendations. So it's not a simplistic environment in terms of just putting information together.
Thank you.
Sure. Yes, please, Ekansh.
Yeah, hi. So, Ambika, basically, I joined the session a little late.
Yeah.
Okay, so I couldn't go through it. So I would like that if we can have a demo for our brand and we can see how it goes.
Absolutely, Ekansh. So there's a link in the chat. If you could just drop in your information to that link, we'll set that up for you.
Got it. Thank you.
So it's for everybody else as well. If you would like to kind of get a view, and if you're looking at GEO governance seriously, then we could definitely set up information strategy call for you, and you could take it from there.
I am sorry, Ambika, I'm unable to find the link. Can you ask someone to again put the link on the chat?
Yeah, he'll just do it again.
Yeah.
Any other questions that I can answer for you? Okay, wait one sec. There's a question in the chat. How are the pillars of the battle cards decided? How do we know what is a category standard versus unique to your brand? So for level 1, the pillars of the battle card, and I again want to repeat that the tool is divided into 2. The first level is just a tip of the iceberg. The information that you get is maybe 5% of the actual information that is available with the tool, because um, it's structured like that in terms of paid usage and unpaid usage. So that's more for us a freemium version that we kind of extend to clients during meetings and during the beta test. And it's kind of continued like that. But the pillars are decided basis the consumer insight and across the board, all of the research kind of agrees that consumers work with products if they feel that the product is innovative, if the product has a better emotional standing, is transparent, is kind of, so there are these parameters which are there. We've picked out those parameters. That is how we are mirroring brands in the battle cards. It's just meant to kind of give an accurate version of on consumer decision parameters. And of course, we haven't gone into product and service. That is what you will see in level 2. And the prompt simulation as well. But from a dashboard perspective, that one dashboard gives it bases the general consumer insight agreement that this is what consumers kind of get attracted to towards a brand or a product if it has these basic qualities. So if your product is really great, but consumers don't think that you're transparent, innovative, and et cetera, and you don't have any thought leadership, the chances that they will prefer your product is fairly lower than what it could have been. Does it help in entertainment domains? Yes, I guess kind of depends on what your objective is. If you are an OTT platform, it's very helpful for you, particularly because you have a large volume of advertising coming from a certain set of clients, right? And it's important, and they're B2B buyers. So it depends on what information you want to give out. I don't think for a B2C scenario in an entertainment platform, there are very high use cases there. But for discovery of shows, yes, certainly. I mean, if you were to give me more information, I could probably kind of answer it a little bit more. Yes, we will share the deck. Yes, it is on a monthly subscription model. In the beginning, we have the monthly subscription, and my team also kind of handholds you for a little bit of time because it's not just what the tool tells you, but it's also what to do and how to do it. And once you're comfortable, you obviously can kind of take it forward solo.
So I have one question. So if I have to start this tool for my brand, so how we can start? Like, what are the options available? Is it like only tool subscription or like end to end?
Good question. I should have given that information, but yes, you could choose both of the options. You could take the subscription of the tool, and we give a little bit of hours to help you kind of acclimatize to GEO, but you do all the execution on your own. You basically just pay for the tool subscription month on month, depending upon high or low usage. And that can be discussed as to how much usage you want to go for. But let's say for a prompt cluster, it's very, very efficient. It's not very expensive. And we do guide your team or your agency or whoever is it that is actually doing the work for a little while, a couple of months, and you could take the tool subscription. The other option is that you do not have an opportunity in-house or with your agency to be able to do the fix, right? And write the content or do the posting or all of that. In that case, the service side of our business will be able to take that on, and we do have a bundled cost for that as well. So I think it's a brand choice on how you want to be able to manage the execution, and it's completely your call. In both the cases, the tool kind of does what it has to do.
Thank you.
Great. If you have any other questions, please do let me know. If you are looking for like a one-on-one demo with your larger team, please let us know. That link is in the chat. He's just going to top that up once more. It's kind of scrolled up because of all the questions, but I'm sure that you found it informative. I hope that it was helpful as well. But I look forward to be able to seeing you. And if you would like to write to us and you have a particular question that we can help you with, irrespective, like the PPC one which we had, definitely happy to help. Thank you so much for attending, and you have a lovely day. All the very best. Thank you.